Hello, everybody, and welcome to Transformation Generation Podcast. So glad you've joined us today. All right, now, behind every great success are great secrets, and a great man said that. And sometimes what we don't realize is that we can actually look into the secrets and life principles and values that great people lived by and actually replicate success. Now, there's nobody who's just like you, and the New Testament exhorts us not to compare ourselves one to another, but there are certain lessons we can learn and apply to our lives that help us to function from the dimension of knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, which actually and truly makes us the head and not the tail. I want to give you today 10 characteristics of those who fulfill their calling. Some people actually fulfill their calling, some people do not. They go their whole life and have missed it, or lived in passivity, or were addicted to pursuing comfort, and so never walk through the hard challenges that produce a toughness that allows us to fulfill our calling. God doesn't have us born into this world with everything we need to fulfill our calling. Even Jesus came as a baby and needed to be physically nourished and trained and raised, and it says he learned obedience. It says he grew in wisdom and stature and favor, and so it's the same for us. What are the certain characteristics that we find that are common to all of those who fulfill their calling? Now, this is not an exhaustive list. I just want to give 10 that are really important, and they're practical. Sometimes we're looking for another hit of something mystical and another high off the charismatic roller coaster, but there are principles. All of life is governed by laws and principles that God himself created. And if you can discover particular laws and principles that govern your sphere of life, you can rule as God would rule if he was in your shoes, and life and outcomes can become predictable. Number 1, 10 characteristics of those who fulfill their calling. They are people who have overcome one or more life crises. They've gone through something. They've gone through failure or trial. They were born with a disability, or they ended up in some type of challenging situation and had to rally and overcome that particular thing rather than be crushed under it. In choosing to overcome rather than be crushed, they actually develop a toughness, and it's the toughness they need for their calling tomorrow. The toughness that you're developing today is equipping for your calling tomorrow. I'll just say that again. The toughness that you're going through today, that's being developed in you through trial and endurance and pain and pressure, is actually the equipping you need to fulfill your call tomorrow. This is why people who actually fulfill their calling are often stronger than the general mass of people. Number 2, people who fulfill their calling in life are people who have the ability to recognize game changer moments, and they can leverage them. They have an eye for opportunity. They recognize a destiny moment. They recognize a destiny doorway, and somewhere in their gut, they know, I need to walk through that door. I need to get on an airplane and fly to this thing. I need to meet with that person. I think God may be opening something up for me. I need to push harder and seize this opportunity. They are people that recognize moments, and God will put you in what I call destiny intersections with people. And you have to recognize them and lay hold of them. Game changer moments, they go after those. Number 3, people who fulfill their calling are those who recognize and seize opportunities. I'm not talking about an opportunistic spirit, all the crazy networking that goes on to manipulate our way to what we esteem to be, or what we deem to be success. But I'm talking about people who see opportunities. They spot them. They're the one that gets there the fastest, works the hardest, and does whatever it takes to get in the room or connect with that person or apply for that job or get that book, take that course, and take the opportunity to grow. They have an eye for opportunity, and they are bold about it. Haven't you noticed that about people who accomplish their destiny and calling? They're bold individuals. They're not timid. The road to destiny is riddled with reasons to quit. It is riddled with fear and intimidation. And those who make it are the ones who don't quit. If you don't quit, you win. They have an eye for opportunity. Number 4, people who realize their calling in life are those who know that a single decision or a moment can produce lifelong benefit and impact. Again, they recognize the game changer moment. They recognize the opportunity, and they maximize that moment to produce a result. Maybe they write that book finally, and they put it out. Maybe you record that course, or you grab that audio or video and you turn it into something. You package the kingdom. Maybe you have a moment to be mentored. Maybe you ended up in a situation. My good friend Jamil Giovanni, he ended up in the washroom next to a world-famous public figure, Jordan Peterson. And he saw a moment, despite it being in an awkward situation in a washroom, and he said, look, I've written a book. Will you read it? Would you consider endorsing it? Talk about seizing a moment. He didn't ask for his autograph. He asked for Jordan's endorsement. Jordan ended up inviting Jamil onto his podcast, and the rest is history. Those who fulfill their call recognize deciding, defining moments. Number 5, those who realize their calling in life, who fulfill their calling, are authentic. They are authentically themselves. And the devil will produce and create many situations to take you off track, the way in which you should go, to take you out of authenticity. The principle is authenticity is like godliness, because you're being exactly who God has made you to be. You have more power and ability and potential in being authentically you, because God has only made one of you, and the world needs who you are. People who fulfill their calling are authentic people, and they've practiced and learned how to be themselves. They've taken their eyes off some other people, some other models, and they've put their eyes on God. Who have you called me to be? They're people who are interested in the identity God has given them. They are authentically themselves. Number 6, people who fulfill their calling in life, they know the value of being there, showing up on time, and getting in the room. The principle is this: the world belongs to those who show up, those who make it into the room. There have been times in my life where I have said, well, God, I don't have to attend that thing. I don't need to go to that training. That's for other people. You know my address, we'll say. You can find me where I am. I don't need to pursue something. Actually, you do. God recognizes hunger, responds to hunger. You show up, you get in the room, you drive all the way there. If you're like our video and media person, Javon, you drive all the way there, set up your cameras, and capture a moment. You put in the work, and life responds to your investment. So they know what it is to show up, to be early, to stay late. The world belongs to those who show up. Number 7, those that accomplish their calling in life recognize that they themselves have a unique purpose, calling, and destiny. They themselves recognize that it's unique to every individual, and they want to know theirs. Nobody's past is keeping them from accomplishing their calling. The Bible says that the gifts and callings of God are without repentance, meaning no matter how much you've blown it in the past, as you walk with God today, you still have access to your unique calling, purpose, and destiny. It's not too late to do everything that God has written about in your life and destiny blueprint in heavenly places. Number 8, those who realize their calling. They understand the role of mentorship, and they view other leaders as priceless resources. They have relational assets above them and beside them, meaning They develop relationships with people who know more than them, who have lived longer than them, who have more experience than them, and they position themselves to learn from those people, to be around them. Then they also are around people beside them. They keep friendships and acquaintances around them so that they can be sharpened. That's what iron sharpens iron means. If you isolate yourself, you're just going to slow down your learning and maybe not learn some things at all. So they get in the room and around the right people so they could learn and grow. What I used to do with my mentors, I'd fly to where he was and I would carry his bag. I would serve. I would serve not only because it works out character in me, but it got me in the room. It gets me near him. I'm able to have the conversations and ask questions that others aren't able to have. I would sit there waiting for him to come out of his hotel, and I would grab the bag, walk with him, and I would ask a question when I could. I'd get in the car with him, and I would try to learn and glean as much as I could. People that fulfill calling understand that mentorship is not just an asset, it's a necessity. It is a necessity for where you're trying to go. Look for divine opportunities to be mentored. Number 9, every person that accomplishes their calling, purpose, and destiny knows the value of asking questions. They are people that ask questions. They are inquisitive. They want to learn. I'm sure I irritated my mentor at times where if I was in a room and there were even other pastors at the table in this one hotel at breakfast, and I sat across from him and I took up all the time asking questions, drawing it out of him. And he finally at one point had to apologize to the rest of the pastors that had come for fellowship. He laughed and he said, this young man is just so hungry. So he was just answering my questions, and he gave his time to the person who asked the most questions. If you ever want to get gold from a leader, let me give you some advice. When you get around them, don't talk about yourself. Don't talk about your accomplishments. Don't ramble on and on about your theology. Ask questions, and they will respond because they like to give answers. It's a secret right there. Number 10, those who accomplish their calling, they recognize that the dimension of knowledge and understanding is what it actually takes to become the head and not the tail in life. Not prophecy, not this, not that, not spiritualizing everything, but those who tap into the knowledge and understanding and divine wisdom to rule in their sphere, they become successful. They become significant. They fulfill their calling because the world, the earth, is governed by laws and principles, kingdom principles, biblical principles that God Himself instituted and fashioned. So those who discover those who pay the price to know and learn those, are those the ones that have success in life. This also answers the question, why so many unsaved people? Why those who don't know God are often the head and not the tail? It's because they paid the price to know and understand and acquired wisdom to be excellent in their sphere. Meanwhile, we're often as Christians just praying about it, wanting God to come down and do for us what He's asked us to go and do by paying the price to learn the laws and principles. Knowledge, understanding, wisdom will make you a king, will make you a queen in every dimension of your calling, purpose, and destiny. Let's watch this.
History Makers School of Destiny is a new kind of school for a new season. Our History Makers 3-day trainings have proven transformational in individuals, cities, and even nations. Now imagine 9 months of this unique paradigm of training and equipping. The School of Destiny is designed to cater to your already busy schedule, offering a 3-day training event and 1 specialized elective on a monthly basis for 9 months. Through this specially choreographed, spirit-filled system of training, we are able to initiate a destiny doorway designed just for you. At the School of Destiny, the goal is not more information, but revelation and impartation that produces transformation. This brand new school offers both in-person and online participation. You will experience anointed worship, impartation, and strategic training. We want to equip you with the precise ingredients and the practical tools you need to fulfill your calling and make history. And that's not all. Graduates of the School of Destiny receive a blueprint strategy to make impact in their sphere of influence through our Society Small Group Initiative. We literally take you from vision to tangible result. We can't wait for you to meet our specialized instructors and real-life practitioners of the kingdom, and most importantly, to have a fresh encounter with the person of Jesus. Enrollment is happening now. We look forward to seeing you at the History Makers School of Destiny.